All right, so today we are diving into Cardano.
Okay.
You've sent in some articles and a YouTube video transcript,
Right.
and they all kind of revolve around the same question. Can Cardano really make a splash in the next bull market?
Yeah, it's a question on a lot of people's minds. And what's really interesting is the way your sources this time dig into the on-chain metrics, which are kind of like the vital signs of the Cardano blockchain.
So like a fitness tracker.
Yeah, exactly. Like how healthy is it?
Okay, so what kind of things are we actually tracking when we look at on-chain metrics?
So we're talking about things like total Cardano wallets,
Okay.
the ratio of addresses that are holding ADA at a profit versus a loss, transaction volume, all sorts of really interesting data points.
Okay.
And what they've done is they've compared this data from back in March of 2020,
Right.
which was a previous bear market low, to what we're seeing today.
And what's the big takeaway there?
Well, the interesting thing is that while Cardano's price has struggled to regain its previous highs, some of these underlying metrics tell a very different story.
Okay.
For example, back in 2020, there were only 357,880 Cardano wallets.
Wow.
Today, there are over 4.48 million.
That is a massive increase.
Yeah, that's more than 12 times what it used to be.
So are we talking about serious players coming in, or just like, people kind of dipping their toes in the water?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Right.
Obviously without analyzing the types of wallets, it's difficult to say for sure. But I mean, that kind of growth, that does suggest to me that there's at least some people out there who are pretty confident in Cardano's long-term potential.
Okay, so the raw numbers look good, but are people holding ADA? Are they happy about it, or are they like, oh no, what have I done?
Well, I mean, let's be real, at the price where it's at, there are definitely a large number of addresses holding ADA at a loss.
Right.
But, and this is what the video really highlighted, the ratio of losing addresses to profitable ones, that's actually improved significantly since 2020.
Interesting, okay.
So that suggests that maybe sentiment is starting to shift a little bit.
Okay, so a glimmer of hope maybe for those who are underwater. But let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Cardano has often been labeled a ghost chain.
Right.
Like it's all hype and no real world use.
Yeah, and it's true, back in 2020, before Cardano had smart contracts,
Yeah.
the ecosystem was really quite quiet.
Right.
Not much was happening
Not a lot going on.
in terms of dApps, real world use cases, all of that.
Okay.
But things have changed since then.
So the question is, has it done enough to kind of shake off that ghost chain label?
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
Right.
We're going to look into the current state of development, see what's being built, and really figure out if Cardano has managed to attract the developers and users it needs to thrive.
All right, let's do it.
Oh,
So we've got a handle on Cardano's potential, but you've also included some fascinating insights into wider crypto market trends.
yeah, absolutely.
So this deep dive is about to get even more interesting.
For sure, one key trend highlighted in the video is this continued dominance of Bitcoin.
Okay.
Like, while a lot of these altcoins like Cardano have sort of struggled, Bitcoin has shown remarkable resilience, outperforming even in recent months.
So Bitcoin's like the tortoise in this race.
Mm-hmm.
Slow and steady wins. What is it about Bitcoin that's allowing it to hold up so well when other cryptos are kind of like, oh no?
Well, there are a few factors at play here, but I think a crucial one is this growing acceptance of Bitcoin as like a legitimate asset class by institutional investors.
Yep.
And the video points specifically to this company, Plan, a Japanese company that's been aggressively accumulating Bitcoin.
Right.
They're even selling something called put options to acquire more.
Hold on, put options. That sounds a little technical for me.
Okay, so imagine a put option is like a contract.
Okay.
It gives Plan the right, but not the obligation to sell a certain amount of Bitcoin at like a predetermined price.
Okay.
So by selling these put options, they're basically betting that Bitcoin's price is going to go up. And they're willing to buy even more if it happens to dip below that agreed upon price.
So it's a calculated risk, but it's a risk that shows a lot of confidence.
Exactly.
It's not just dipping their toes in the water. They're like, yeah, we're all in.
Exactly. And that kind of institutional interest is a really powerful signal.
Right.
It's not just about quick profits anymore. It's about strategic allocation of capital.
Right.
These institutions, they're looking at Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation,
Okay.
a long-term store of value, a key component of a diversified portfolio.
And this isn't just a one-off thing. We're talking about like a sea change
Absolutely.
in how traditional finance is starting to view crypto.
Yeah, and it's having a ripple effect on the entire crypto space.
Right.
Because this increased institutional involvement brings legitimacy, it brings stability,
Okay.
and potentially paves the way for wider adoption and a more mature regulatory environment.
Right.
Which is something that, frankly, all cryptos would benefit from, including altcoins like Cardano.
So a rising tide lifts all boats, even the ghost ships.
Maybe. But speaking of wider adoption,
Okay.
the video also points to some pretty staggering predictions from Matrixport.
Right, the crypto financial services company.
Exactly.
Okay.
They are saying that by the end of 2025, global crypto adoption will surpass 8%,
Okay.
which might not sound like a lot considering we're at 7.5% now, but that represents millions of new users coming into the market.
Millions of new users, meaning more demand, more innovation,
For sure.
potentially a much bigger role for crypto in the global economy.
Yeah, and here in the US, we've got something else brewing that could have a major impact on the future of crypto, the 2024 presidential election.
It's interesting because crypto has become a surprisingly hot topic
I know, right?
in the political sphere.
It's everywhere.
And the video highlights a significant shift. Both leading candidates, Trump and Harris, have actually expressed strong support for crypto.
Wild, right?
This is huge. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, crypto was barely a blip on the political radar.
Yeah.
And now it's like a major talking point for both parties.
I know, it's crazy.
What is behind this sudden embrace of all things crypto?
Well, I think it's a combination of things.
Okay.
The growing influence of the crypto industry itself is definitely a factor.
Okay.
You know, politicians, they're starting to recognize the economic potential,
Great.
innovation it's driving, and the fact that more and more voters are directly invested in this market.
So we've got this perfect storm brewing, right? Growing mainstream adoption, institutional interest, and now political endorsements. Feels like crypto is finally breaking through to the big leagues.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. And this newfound political support, it could have huge implications.
Okay.
You know, we could see a much more favorable regulatory landscape emerge.
Right.
One that really encourages innovation while still obviously addressing concerns about consumer protection, market stability, all of that.
That would be a game changer. But
For sure.
let's talk about one of those political curveballs for a second.
Okay.
The video mentions that Elon Musk recently endorsed Donald Trump, and it's actually shifted those prediction markets in Trump's favor.
Yeah, it's definitely added another layer of complexity to an already unpredictable election.
Right. And this is interesting from a crypto perspective because
Yeah.
Trump hasn't always been Bitcoin's biggest fan.
To say the least.
Yeah, he's practically sworn off Bitcoin in the past.
Yeah.
So if Trump does make a comeback, what does that mean for the future of crypto in the US?
It's really hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
You know, while his past skepticism is very well documented, the political landscape has really shifted.
Right.
Since then, with both parties now seemingly embracing crypto,
Right.
it's very possible that even a Trump administration would feel the pressure to kind of get on board, especially given its potential economic benefits.
It's like everyone's playing crypto poker and we're all just trying to read the tea leaves.
Right.
But hey, that's what makes this space so fascinating, right?
Absolutely.
Constant change, unexpected twists and turns, and the potential to reshape the entire financial world as we know it.
I know, and that's why these deep dives are so important.
Right?
You know, we unpack these complex trends, we analyze them from all these different angles, and it helps us make sense of this crazy, rapidly evolving landscape.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Right.
We've journeyed through Cardano's on-chain metrics. We explored what makes Bitcoin so resilient.
Yeah.
We even dipped our toes into the world of crypto and US politics.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot. But one thing is for sure, this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows what the future holds for Cardano, for Bitcoin, for the entire crypto ecosystem. But one thing is certain, we'll be here ready to dive into the next set of fascinating sources and unpack it all right here with you on The Deep Dive.